Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. Right, we've had a lot of boxing going on, and this is almost a catch-up video to go through that. I will be doing previews for Chisora Parker and also for Andy Ruiz versus Arreola, probably in one video. To be honest with you, probably that card for Chisora Parker, and then also the Ruiz Arreola fight, because the undercard for that is not fantastic. I'll be honest with you. Okay, let's get straight into this. And before I do, please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell as well to get alerted to all the new videos. Thank you very much. Cool, let's go. Felix Cash versus Denzel Bentley. Well, it was actually Denzel Bentley versus Felix Cash for the British and Commonwealth titles. The British title held by Denzel Bentley and the Commonwealth by Felix Cash. Now, Denzel Bentley is actually a friend of the channel, and I've interviewed him twice before. Really, really nice guy. Really enjoyed speaking to him and doing interviews with him as well. I'm not going to lie, I was rooting for him. I really was. I was hoping he'd get the win, and he seemed quite confident as well. I'd spoken to him beforehand, and I can imagine he was. But I think, unfortunately, uh, this was a case of seeing a slight gap between two fighters because of the amateur pedigree that both have. Denzel Bentley has a very limited amateur background. Felix Cash has quite an extensive one, the GB team as well. So that, I think, shone through a little bit in this fight. Now, from pretty much the off, Felix Cash looked very, very good on the front foot. He was putting it on Denzel Bentley, although the first meaningful punch thrown was actually a counter left hook by Denzel Bentley, which did hurt Felix Cash because you could tell it woke him up like, oh, hold on, I need to be alert here. But after that, it was pretty much all Felix Cash for the most part in that first round, especially a couple of left hooks and also a couple of good right hands as well from Felix Cash. It was a very intriguing fight to watch because both are very good counter punchers. You could tell they're both quite twitchy, trying to throw the jabs and then off it, but also trying to throw with the other fighter when they could see openings. So it was a really good fight to watch whilst it lasted. First round, I think Felix Cash, I think most people gave it to him. Second round was a bit more even, and Denzel Bentley had a bit more success. Now, Denzel Bentley's style is very different to Felix Cash. Felix Cash is more orthodox, very traditional, hands up, come forward. Denzel Bentley, his hands are a bit lower. He actually tries to use almost a shoulder roll, or use his shoulder to block shots, and then kind of leans back whilst he's doing it. His feet, for me, actually are a lot better than Felix Cash's. He seems to have better movement, but Felix Cash systematically can break down fighters, and I think his counter punching, his power, and also just his pedigree shone through here for me. And that second round, I think you could give it either way. I thought it was quite tight, but it was the third round which we're going to touch upon because that's where the fight ended. Felix Cash caught him with a right hand against the ropes, and Denzel Bentley, you could tell it hurt him because he then went to kind of sway out the way. He kind of ducked a bit lower, but Felix Cash then caught him very flush with another right hand, and then three more right hands followed that after. So four pretty flush right hands caught Denzel Bentley, and the ref came in, waved it off. Now, at first, when you look at it first, some people might say, "What's going on? That's only stoppage." But actually, after watching it again and thinking about it, to get caught by four flush right hands like that and not be able to get anything back, and you could see Denzel Bentley's head snapping back each time, it did look quite bad. And it looked like he probably would have been. I don't know if you like Denzel Bentley might have a rock solid chin, so he might not have gone to the floor, but he definitely would have caused a lot of damage, and I think he would have been stopped either way. So I think the right decision for me. It wasn't fantastic to see. I had the same bad feeling watching um, Kane Baker get stopped by Yusuf Kamari. It was like, because you've interviewed them, you've formed this kind of bond. Of course, I don't know them on a personal level. I've interviewed them, and that's it. But still, interviewing them and getting to know them a little bit, even you do form a little bit of connection. So it was a bit sickening to watch. But look, Felix Cash looks the real deal. He now captures the British and Commonwealth titles. He's going to be looking to go forward towards the European title, and that brings me quite nicely actually onto Andrade versus Williams, and I'll touch upon that before the David Adeleye performance, because after that there was talk. Frank Warren actually said that apparently Liam Williams vacated the British title with the subject to if he lost against Andrade, he could come back and be mandatory for it. So I think hinting that he'd like to see Liam Williams versus Felix Cash after this performance from Felix Cash. Now, Felix Cash is a Sky Sports fighter, matchroom fighter even, and came on a Queensbury show and obviously did the business. Uh, we had a similar thing, but the other way around. But both times Matchroom coming out on top, and this time it was Liam Williams versus Demetrius Andrade. Now that was last week, so apologies for the lateness in this, but I very briefly want to touch upon it because Liam Williams got dropped in that second round quite heavily. Demetrius Andrade didn't jump on him. I think I'm going to very briefly talk about it from a technical point of view, from what limited knowledge I guess I have compared to the boxing experts out there. But Demetrius Andrade's uppercut was just getting through, and Liam Williams didn't know what to do with it. He hit him with it all day long, and Demetrius Andrade just kept on peppering away with that uppercut, which was very accurate and very powerful as well. Quite a looping one. Some people said it was quite slow. You could see it from a mile off. Either way, it got through, and that's all that matters really. And he kept on scoring with it. Liam Williams did come on strong. I think he hurt Andrade in the 9th round. It was, and you could see Andrade. His legs were not super steady. So look, he definitely hurt Andrade. I think Demetrius Andrade probably wasn't expecting Liam Williams to be this tough, but he definitely came through as a champion. I think it was a pretty wide decision, and it should have been. I think 118, 108 was. You might think that's a bit harsh, but it's very difficult to give Liam Williams many rounds, maybe 2 rounds, and that's maybe it. I would give it to him. Demetrius Andrade definitely outclassed him, but every round was pretty competitive, and that's why it ended up being such an enthralling fight. And also, Liam Williams is such a tough dude. I just think it was a step too far, and I think him and Domingo both said it. And I do think if he was to fight a so-called weaker champion, he could probably win. But someone like Demetrius Andrade, Jamal Charlo, those guys, I don't think he has a chance against them. So he might have to wait, maybe win a regular belt potentially, maybe go for one of those. I don't know how good Murata is, but yeah, let's see. Either way, a very valiant performance from Liam Williams, but interesting to see if he would take that fight, because Eddie Hearn said after, I'm surprised that he would take that fight, because I would be, if I was him, I'd be looking to get back into world title contention after a good, solid, showing against Demetrius Andrade. And I kind of agree with him on that point. So let's see. But Felix Cash versus Liam Williams would be a fantastic fight. I think Eddie Hearn knows it's a dangerous fight for Liam Williams. Sorry, for Felix Cash, and I think Frank Warren will probably think the same about Felix Cash. But clearly, Frank Warren is all for it. So interesting on that one. Felix Cash stays unbeaten, and Denzel Bentley unfortunately picks up that first loss of his career. He was absolutely gutted after. Hopefully I'll be able to catch up with him at some point, but I think it's only right that I give him some space before requesting to do an interview with him after getting stopped and your first loss. But yeah, I was really, really disappointed for him. And but you know what? I'm looking forward to the bounce back. I think he's going to come back even stronger. I'm sure we'll see him come back and improve. He's still got a very high ceiling, and I'm looking forward to seeing him go big in his career. As for Felix Cash, look, I mean, the guy is going to go on and do big things. I would go as far as to say, like, wouldn't be surprised if he goes on to win a world title. Let's just say that. I think it depends on the champion potentially, but he keeps on improving and he looks the real deal. Okay, lastly, then let's touch upon David Adeleye, because for me that was a very controversial win, wasn't it, against Kamil Sokolowski, who is 10-21, so has a very heavy losing record, and David Adeleye didn't look great. Now, Nathan Gorman, I think told Adeleye to fight him because he'd fought Nathan Gorman before, and Adeleye took the bait, fought him, and a lot of people actually thought David Adeleye lost. Now, one of the biggest things that came from this, and everyone seemed to say and discuss, and I think they're completely right, is David Adeleye wasn't setting up his punches. He was just trying to throw power punches and trying to get him out with single shots. He wasn't throwing the jab effectively or regular enough. and then working off it. It was just very haphazard from him, and he actually got tagged quite a bit. A lot of people thought as well. Not enough head movement, just very, very rough. And I think his inexperience definitely shone through. He's now 6-0 with 5 KOs, but this was very, very fortunate from on a lot of people's books. A points win, the first victory that hasn't come by KO, and I think that also says a lot about his performance. He was very, very disappointed with the performance, which I think he should be, to be honest with you. He said he wants the rematch after, and he'd be very disappointed if he didn't knock out Camille Sokolowski, but I think David Hay after and also Lynn Arthur both said that he should get the rematch. He should just rematch him and put it right. I think he should as well. I didn't like his. It was a little bit of. It comes across as a little bit arrogant the way that he talks about the opponent, because a lot of people thought he lost that, and to come out and just say, "Oh, I'll knock him out," blah blah, or like, it just almost came across as if, you know what, I'm too good for this dude, and it's like, but you're still inexperienced. And I think you need to be maybe humble yourself a little bit. And he's been calling out Nathan Gorman, but Nathan Gorman's done a lot more than him. And I think Nathan Gorman would school him at this point. So I think he needs quite a few more fights before fighting someone like Nathan Gorman. But anyways, look, he's still an exciting prospect. So let's see what he does. Anyways, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Please do remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click the notification bell as well to get alerts to all new videos. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video. Keep an eye out for my previews and my live stream, fingers crossed, for Chisora vs. Park. Thank you very much.